Just before 15 minutes of 15-minute gamer starts, just to let you know that yes, I know it's over 15 minutes, but when have I ever stuck to 15 minutes? I should change my name. But just to let you know, I will be showcasing both my 15-minute backgrounds. Just drop a comment below and let me know which one you like best, and then I'll stick with that one from the remainder. So enjoy the podcast. Catch you later. Hello and welcome to 15-minute gamer, and this is 15 minutes with, and today I have a guest with me. It's Alex Goy. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, this is
How
Alex. He is... Well, I'll let you take it away and describe yourself, because there's a lot you do.
I am the senior editor at a YouTube site and also a website called Roadshow and Carfection. And what I do is I drive supercars for money and tell people what I think about them, and it is awesome.
It always makes me very jealous when I see you put a nice car up, or you see it off to like some motor show in Detroit or something, for example.
Yeah, that's well, trade shows are a big part of it. You know, we're gearing up for the Geneva Motor Show now. So there's going to be loads of cool stuff there it's going to be Supercar Central, which is great for me because I love things that are fast and shiny and silly. Detroit was interesting, but that's more US market focused, and I'm not too hot on that. And then after that, I think it's New York. I don't think I'm going there. I don't know yet. And then all the Goodwood stuff over the summer and Le Mans. And then towards the end of the year, we've got Frankfurt, which is agony because it's basically a village full of cars, but a really big village you have to run across. It's where all the Germans go to show off. So rather than hire a bit of a hall, as they would do at a normal motor show, Audi just builds its own building in a square. Last time they did it 2 years ago, there was... a room made entirely of ice. There was a test track around the inside of the building. It's insane.
That sounds good. And
it was good. Most shows are a part of it, big part of it, because it's going out and seeing a new product and talking with people, networking, that kind of thing, and seeing what's coming up next. So normally as a show, we at Carfection will do 3 or 4 cars, and we'll shoot a little something to go in to give the car a bit more context. So there's a new Porsche 911 GT3 RS, which was at Geneva, 3-4 years ago? 3 years ago, I think. What we did was we got in a normal 911 and just had a bit of a chat about like the GT3 and the GT3 RS as a thing and where it came from and the historical angle to it. Which meant that you start at the show, you can show off the car, talk about some of the things that are going on it, then jump to that, which makes it more valid for longer. And then at the end, do all the talky bits about power and speed and price and all the stuff that people actually want to hear about, but I force them to wait till the end for.
Instead of the Jeremy Clarkson method of first and
then
going for all the rest after that.
Yeah, we try and make people hang on a little longer.
for the fun stuff. If you head over to YouTube/Carfection, I'm guessing it is.
YouTube.com/Carfection. Or if you want to see our sort of more grown-up sister site in the States, it's theroadshow.com, and they have a YouTube channel as well. And our stuff lives both on the Roadshow and on YouTube.
There you go. See, there's a little bit of advertising done for that. So go check it out. Yeah. They've got a lot of subscribers and they do good videos. And you'll see Alex stand there in some sort of scarf normally.
Well, there was the longest time I wasn't allowed to wear scarves because our producer didn't like me wearing them, and now he's gone. I'm allowed to have a scarf on again, which is good because it's cold at the moment.
It is very cold. So if you like scarf-based motoring journalism, Alex is the guy to look at there. So go check it out. It's always very interesting. I always try and keep an eye on them.
The scarves or the videos?
And the scarves on the video. Yeah, we've got lots of scarves going on. Lots of cool cars like, last week, went up the new Mazda MX-5. You got new Porsche Panamera Turbo, which has a wonderful rear wing.
It has an amazing wing. That Panamera, like my boss man Drew, he loved the old Panamera. I thought it was a face only a mother could love. This new one is so pretty. It looks like a stretch 911, which is good because Porsche 911s are, it's been the same design for 50 years, whatever, but it's been evolved and it's become this real, it's a very defining, iconic silhouette for Porsche. So the fact they've managed to stretch it and make it look genuinely good is huge for them. And the Turbo S was bonkers quick. And last night they announced the Turbo S E Hybrid, which has 680 horsepower, which is
that's incredible.
insane. Yeah.
Will you be doing a video on that one?
Probably when one comes to the UK, I will do my best to do it because that'll be a giggle. But I imagine Drew will steal the keys and want to do that.
So if you like Porsches, but yeah, check it out. Very good thing, and good reviews and well informed. I think when you watch them, they're always very articulate and accurate.
What we try to do is because when we started out, so I joined the company 5 years ago because we worked for CBS Interactive. So we're partnered with CNET and GameSpot, and then us, and then a few other places. When they were looking to do the car site, what they wanted to do is they wanted to make something that wasn't like everything else out there. Because we could do news and reviews and things like that, but the market's just saturated. So we decided to go down the feature route and make it more emotional, more informative than here is a car with 600 horsepower. It does this. It feels like this. So for me, it's all about trying to find a different story or a different angle within a car. Like, a lot of the time we get stuff later than a lot of the big boys because, they've got magazines and they've got a huge historical following, a massive legacy to them, whereas we're still comparatively new. So it's all about finding something a little bit different in there. As far as I'm concerned, the car is always the star. Like, people turn up to hear a story about the car. They don't really care about me, which is perfect as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, one of my favourite ones we did, Ferrari 458 Spider. It was 18 months after anyone else had it. And we, rather than just do a straight-up film about it, we did a film on how Ferrari started making mid-engine cars. And the first mid-engine car was from Ferrari was the Dino, which was named after Enzo Ferrari's son, who tragically died very young, who came up with the V6 engine, or was the inspiration for the V6 engine that went in the middle of it. So there's all this linked history that's not really talked about as often as I think it should be. So that was really good fun to do, and we did this little montage of all the mid-engine Ferraris we could find. We hooked up with a Ferrari specialist and started and basically got all of them onto someone's driveway in quick succession. And it's really nice to tell that story and nice to spend time with nice Ferraris, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, what more could you want for a nice little Ferrari? I think that's what. I don't know if you ever saw the show, but James May done a program where it was talking about the car itself, and how it impacted on history and people. And I like that story when you actually look back and go, "Wow, it wasn't just a car; it was this for people."
It was freedom for people. Yeah. It was another one of my favourites. We did a film with a Ford Model T, a 1915 car, and they taught me how to drive it, and then we basically told this story and the impact it had, the trouble Henry Ford had. Because he was obviously a very talented engineer, but his first car company went under, then he tried another one, that went under, and he knew his last chance was going to be, the Ford Motor Company as it is now. And the way he got everything going, because he realised that the car was just too expensive for the common man. So he made this race car, and it went very quickly, and everyone was amazed. So he got more investment, and then started building, finding out ways to build cars cheaply. Eventually stumbled on the Model T, and it was originally built by hand. It was still affordable. I think it was $800, which not super affordable in 1915, but or earlier. Still a bit. But cheaper than the thousands that cars were. And then he went to a Chicago meatpacking plant and saw how it worked, because basically cow goes in, bits of cow come out, and he figured, well, what if bits of car went in and car came out? And so he cut the production time from, hours to minutes. And then that revolutionized automotive production. Then costs went down. He lowered the price. He had a $5 working day, so all of his workers could afford things. They didn't work full weeks, so they had time to do stuff. And all this cool stuff. And basically, were it not for the Model T, America wouldn't have a road network. Because previously you would take horses or you'd take your posh motor. But all of a sudden, when everyone was buying these cars, businesses were transformed, because we're used to sell farming equipment and things like that, then had to start going into auto repair. But the good thing was the Model T was cheap and easy to work on. And then the Model T could hack rough stuff, but what if there was a road network that was a bit smoother? That would be a bit better. And then America just started spiraling, turning into this big like spider's web of a road network. And so that car is one of the most important cars ever built. But after the Benz patent motorwagen, arguably the first gasoline powered car. It's a truly revolutionary bit of kit. It's really difficult to drive though.
Yeah, you've got to press loads of stuff, don't you, just to even get it going.
So the throttle is on the steering wheel, and then you've got the engine timing on the steering wheel, and then where your throttle would be is actually the brake, I think, and where the brake would be is one pedal to do something else, and then where the clutch would be is sort of the gas in first gear, but then in second gear you can take your foot off it completely, and then you're just controlling it on the. It's so confusing, and there's a lever, and every time I drive one, I remember it for like 6 months, and then it goes away.
That video is 2 years old, Alex. By the way, just found it on the.
Is
YouTube
it? Have you been
channel.
looking at it?
Yeah, I'll put a link down below actually, so you can all check that out.
We shot it in November. If it's 2 years old, we shot it in November 14. Then.
Yeah, you're not wearing a scarf.
So the car was
I don't
3 years old.
Yes, that's an interesting.
I wasn't allowed to. That was our old producer.
So, if you want to see Alex not wearing a scarf, that's your video. I'll put a link in. And we now have 4 minutes to talk about gaming because we've talked about cars too much. So,
sorry.
Yes, I'm sure we can extend it, maybe, the podcast. So, I first saw Alex, and we just talked this before we came on. Daniel Dwyer he doesn't work for GameSpot anymore. He's went independent. But, yes, he used to work for GameSpot, and obviously Alex's works kind of with GameSpot, and they were doing a 24-hour live stream playing a different game every hour, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was one game per year for 24 hours. So they started. When was it? I did that 2013, I think, maybe 2012.
It was about 2012, yeah, because it was a long time. It was about 5 years ago. Because when I watched it, that's when I decided to make a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
so.
mine.
The whole thing about that was I was watching it because I knew the guys from GameSpot were doing it, and we worked together, so I thought I'd support them. And I jumped in the comments saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, let's go guys," and all that stuff. And they went, "Oh, come over and play." And I ended up staying. I ended up doing I think 21 and a half hours. I had to have a nap in the middle, but people were coming and going as they saw fit, and it was really good fun actually. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't do last year's. And I couldn't do the year before because of office moves. But I think I did 3 on the trot because at that time we'd only just started kind of creating stuff, but we hadn't published any of it really. We'd done a few motor show videos, but that was about it because we've only been going for 3 years, like publicly, but I've been here for 5.
Yeah, it was because we were just saying before, I think it was about the same sort of time that I kind of started up that Alex did as well, because I remember him just launching. Was it X-Car back then?
It was called X-Car, and then reasons happened, and the name changed.
So it's now Carfection.
Yes.
But yes, For the Children is still one of my favourite comments.
For the children!
For the children. We were doing it, and Alex actually read my name out on air.
Did I?
Yes, he did, because I donated some money. And I was just like, my God, this is amazing. So I was kind of like, at that point, I was like, right, I'm just going to have to add Alex now onto Twitter and get to know him because he read my name out on air. But yeah, it was a really good stream. I don't normally watch streams. I like hardly ever. But that one I was really, because it was just loads of different games. And like from Mario all the way to modern, 24 years. So it was really good. And
yeah, it was wicked, man. It was cool. It's when we had, was it 1997, 98? And we were debating, do we play Abe's Odyssey or Metal Gear Solid? And we did 20 minutes of Abe's Odyssey, and people were like, "Sod Abe, give us Abe." So I'm like, okay, let's see how far we can get in 40 minutes.
Not very far on that game.
It takes time.
Takes a long time, but you still play games now, don't you? You play Destiny now quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm big on Destiny. Like I don't get as much time as I'd like because the job is mental. Like this week I've been in Sweden for 3 days. Last week I was in Utah from Monday to Thursday. So I don't get as much time, but the thing is, because I've reached that age where all of my friends have started moving out of town, or they've moved in with partners in flats, we don't have as much time to hang out. And so I've got 2 really close mates who we all just play Destiny together. So we have an evening of just killing things. And they're like, they play it when they're at home kind of on their own, but I don't have time to do it. So they're a lot better than me. But They don't skip leg day, so it's fine. They can carry me through.
Which you need on Destiny. You need to carry through half the time.
You do. Like it can be super difficult. I mean, I got the physical copy of Hitman, so I'm enjoying that at the moment when I get a chance. I picked up a PS4 Pro over Christmas, and I bought Overwatch with it just to see what it was like, and it's a really good pick up and play thing for me. I love it. Other sort of gaming memories. I mean, Metal Gear Solid is a huge game for me. It was one of the first stories I got really invested in. So I've played every single one. I haven't finished 5 yet.
Oh, have you not?
No.
Yeah,
it's unfinished.
Unfinished in the collection.
Why bother? Yeah, but Metal Gear I adore. Final Fantasy VII again was one of those kind of formative years things where it's one of the few RPGs I've actually played through to completion, and a lot of it stuck with me. You know, there's people often say that gaming isn't a decent medium for storytelling, but that's because they haven't given it the time and the space it needs. Because I think what they used to see was these blocky characters, no speech. You know, it was all a bit primary colours, and it had this view as image as a toy more than anything else, because that's how they were sold in the 70s and 80s, and the early 90s really. But now the kids who have been given these things when they were kids still want to do that. They still want the joy that gaming can bring, that escapism. And so now the guys who were playing, you know, Manic Miner or Doom or what have you, they've grown up, and now they want to tell the stories that they remember having
when they
when they were kids. You know, stuff that you remember games being a lot prettier and a lot more vibrant, a lot more exciting than a lot of the time they actually were. Like if you go back and have a look at Final Fantasy VII or Metal Gear, you know, it's blocky and it's horrible, but that was the limitations of the hardware of the day. But you kind of rose tint these things. So now these guys are coming in and creating masterpieces.
You get some very good, and to be fair, when you play out with friends like Destiny and stuff, you come up with them. You make your own story almost when you're playing. Like you'd be like, "Oh, can you remember when we ran in that room and there was 10 guys there and we shot them all?" You know, like,
and everything went horribly wrong
which
over
is
again.
The case.
Yeah, but it's fun, you know. We a group of us did because the first Destiny raid was the Vault of Glass.
Yes,
and it was a big deal was made. Oh, it's a big raid. You've got to be level 20 to do it and all that, and it was going to be super difficult. And a group of us we're all level 40. Like some of them are approaching 400 light, and the way that works is complicated and stupid. But we all went in and we just did it vanilla, and we smashed it in like less than an hour. Wow. It was brilliant.
It's not bad at all.
And you have great experience like that. Well, it's because all the baddies were set to crayon, so right. They were easy. But you know, there's so many like moments like over the years. I remember getting a Wii when I was at uni, and I had a bunch of people over. We made terrible cocktails and played Wii Sports and Red Steel. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, that was a good game.
It's supposed to be the game where everyone was like, "Wow, it's proper motion control. This is incredible." Whereas actually, it was rubbish. It was truly rubbish.
Like the rest of the games, where you sit down and wiggle your arm. And that
it was a great idea, but it was an easily exploitable idea, which is a great shame. You know, I remember Crash Team Racing and having sleepovers with mates and just playing that through the night, or like getting a multi-tap on a PS1 and cracking out Quake 2, because that was a huge deal back then, that Quake came to a console. And, you know, I spent many, many happy years sitting in front of a television screen, and I really hate the fact that people still judge you for having that as a hobby sometimes, because I sit in my living room with a headset on talking to people, but you know, I've made friends doing this. You know, I know people from all over the world now because I've met them via friends of friends of friends. You know, never face to face. I've had meaningful chats and experiences with these guys, and if they need me, I will be there for them, and vice versa. And I absolutely love it. The freedom, the creativity, the fact that, you know, the day-to-day can be a bit awful because you know, many people suffer from, you know, mental health issues. I myself have got, you know, weapons-grade depression, anxiety stuff going on. Like every now and then it kind of peaks and troughs. And to be able to sit in a room, admittedly alone, but then communicate with other people and do something that just takes your mind out of the room, takes you away from the bad things,
the real world.
The real world, the stuff that drags you down, and just to have some fun with your friends, I think it's absolutely invaluable.
I always promote gaming. I think a lot of people say it as, oh, well, you're not going out. Like, especially parents with kids sometimes, like, oh, well, why aren't you outside doing something?
Yeah.
It's the only way I get taught my friends half the time is by gaming.
Yeah.
And when I've had a hard day at work or not a very good day or been traveling around the country, just switching a game on and shooting some people in the face.
Yeah.
It's
very cathartic.
Yeah, it is. You're just like, oh, okay, well, that cheered me up. And then you just go back on because you've had that bit of a release, that bit of a, I don't drink too much, don't smoke, that sort of thing. So it's my release to just chill out, really.
See, I do drink too much and I smoke. So
you just have all the vices going on there. You might as well stick
I really do. I really do. It's good fun though. Yeah, but no, it's you know, gaming is one of those things that, you know, it's something I want to do forever if I can. And, you know, God forbid I spawn children. It's something I want to introduce them to as soon as possible because one, it's good for hand-eye coordination. Two, you know, seeing these worlds, it's quite inspiring because, you know, you want to draw them, you want to be part of them, you want to think around them, you want to do stuff within them, see how you can exploit the system. And, you know, I think it breeds creativity more than people saying, oh, it rots your brain and it's a waste of time in life. You know, it makes you faster, it makes you think more, it makes you think smarter, and it makes you, you know, enjoy the world that you inhabit just that little bit more.
Yeah, and it's things like even real world applications like learning to drive, bring about the cars. You know, like when you game and you've got that coordination of changing the gear, accelerate and brake and clutch, and looking around you at the same time because you play games. That's what you do in a game. You're pressing buttons and controlling it, and you know, then when you pick up a car, it's just kind of like
if your only experience of driving is Forza Motorsport and jump on the road in your 1 litre Fiesta, try to drive like that, you will find yourself in prison pretty quickly. It's
like when you're being caught and then getting your car after being caught. You're just like, oh my god, this is bad. You have to slow down
this
very
is
quick.
bad. This is bad, but it's quite fun. If there's no speed cameras around there, it's brilliant.
Yeah, if that's a problem. I see you did a VR thing on the channel the other day, didn't you?
Drew went to Bossman Drew went to see a rig. I was away, so I know nothing about this. I've been in the office for about 2 weeks this year, I think, collectively. So Drew's done this thing, and he came back and he was like, "Wow, it's the best thing ever. Really loved it. Really loved it. It's only 40 grand or whatever it was.
That's cheap, isn't it?
It's cheap as shit. I mean, I've done a few. I did this place called Highway World in Lyon, in France. And it's got 3 massive rooms. They do prototypes, so LMP1, Rally, and F1. And they use real cars. So the prototype races are kind of fiberglass bodies molded off of real cars, real LMP1 cars. The rally cars are Citroen C2s that they've just dismantled and stuck the body and stuff on. And the F1 cars, they're made in the UK. They're actual race car shells that they then mount on these amazing hydraulic rigs. And you wear your race suit and a helmet and you feel all past the show and all that. You strap yourself in, which is advisable. Climb into this thing, 6-point harness. You have 3 screens in front of you that kind of immerse you. And then it raises about 6-7 feet off the ground. And you have this amazing articulation. So when you accelerate, you do feel like you're accelerating. When you brake, the car pitches forward. When you turn in, the car balances and moves with you. It's really bizarre. The only problem is, because it's on a screen, like I have the whole disconnect of, well, I have no sensation of speed.
Yes, because you're just looking at a screen.
Yeah, which is kind of the difficulty between making the move from virtual racing to real racing, which is why I respect the guys who do the Gran Turismo Academy so much, because
they're amazing, them guys.
It's difficult, man. I went to see the semi-finals of the Gran Turismo Academy in 2012, 2013, I think. And they let us have a go. And I will freely admit I'm useless. Like I love gaming, but I'm useless at it. I pump thousands of pounds every year into getting out of my own skin into someone else's, and I'm just cack at it. But that doesn't matter because I like the escapism. But you jump into these pod things they have, and it's just bizarre. I can't quite get a grip on what's happening to the virtual car. So these guys that can get around the Nürburgring in 5 minutes flat in a prototype car, they're just incredible. And then you apply that to the real world. And you look at Jan Mardenborough and Lucas Ordonez. They are immense drivers. And that past that, I interviewed Jan, and he was driving around Silverstone in a GTR. And I didn't know what to ask him, so we just talked about gaming for a bit. And we were driving down one of the straights at about 150 miles an hour. I said, so are you throwing the fact that your parents were telling you not to play games when you were younger, are you throwing that back in their face? Oh, you'll never amount to anything if all you do is play video games. While we were doing 150 miles an hour, he turned to me, took both his hands off the wheel and went, well, yeah. And I was gesticulating wildly. It was like, I know you're a race driver, but would you mind awfully putting your hands on the wheel?
That is not why you want 150 miles an hour heading down a straight, is it really?
Ooh, it was nerve-wracking, to say the least.
I'm sure a lot of people have used gaming to that advantage to learn to do some sort of new skill or hobby or...
Here's the thing. I was reading, there's a book out called The Tetris Effect by a journalist called Dan Ackerman who works for CNET, and it's all about the story of Tetris, because in reality that's like it's kind of the first viral game.
Yes, yeah.
And its origin is fascinating, like created in a computer lab in Russia by a chap who was just seeing what he could do with his computer, which was outdated at the time by 3 or 4 years. It was proper old tech, and then how the game spread throughout the world and how it came to be on the Game Boy. It's a fascinating book. If you're interested, go and buy it because it's one of the best reads I've had in the last year or so. But part of the book is it's Tetris's medical use and what it's done to people and its effect on hand-eye coordination and depression and like recovery from like catastrophic mental events. And it's stuff like that, which I absolutely adore, like what it does to people and how it affects you kind of on a mental but also physical level. And then you get faster at things, you get better at things, you get better hand-eye coordination, memory skills, that kind of stuff. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So gaming, while some people have written it off and don't understand it, they don't realise just how truly brilliant and life-changing it can be for some people. Case in point, Jan Mardenborough and Lucas Ordonez.
Yeah, just from playing a game and now the racing drivers, it's quite incredible, really, if you take it. But no, I completely agree. I think gaming, if you do have, again, like me, I do have social anxiety anyway, and if I don't want to go out and just play a game, chat to some people online, and made lots of friends like you, and like we've played Battlefield together.
We did.
And I had no one else to play Battlefield with, so
no, because it was
Alex to play with.
You know what? DICE did an okay job at making it feel like Star Wars, which was fine, because I'm not very good at first-person shooters anyway, but I love Star Wars and nerdy stuff. So that was a dream come true. The look of it looked amazing, but it wasn't as good as the old Battlefront. So I've got, I think, Battlefront 2 on the GameCube at home.
We could still got on the game because I've got the PC. It's
amazing. I've got my GameCube because Mario Kart Double Dash is one of the finest Mario Karts ever made. Controversial, but true. And you in Battlefront 2, you can run around the map, then jump into a spaceship and just fly away, like off the planet or from spaceship to spaceship, and that's really cool. Like I love that to bits. Whereas with this, you have to find a special token, and they made it unnecessarily complicated, and I don't get that. And the whole single player offering is bad. And you know what? In that game, none of the guns felt particularly different, and life felt cheap.
It did. I think that was what
much like
ruined it for me.
Like in Call of Duty, I think life is too cheap because it's too easy to get killed.
Yeah.
Which means like if you're not very good at it, you're just going to be downed all the time, and that puts me off massively. Whereas with Battlefront, none of the guns felt different at all. You could have a blaster, or you could have an enormous rifle, and just it might fire a bit quicker and make a different pew pew noise, but that was it. And then you get shot once, bang, you're dead. That's disappointing, I think.
Yeah, it had that. Yeah, it was. I died. So, like, when you pick the TIE Fighter token up, and you would end up going. I think I was playing with you, actually. And I got the TIE Fighter token, got really excited, and crashed into the back of an AT-AT. You know what I mean? Straight instantly. I was instantly dead, and that was it. It was like, I never got another one again for that session, and it's just, you want them lying around on the ground, you want to be flying them, you want to jump in them, and, you want to have that bit of fun. And they've said for the next one that comes out, it's going to have single player, and that I'm kind of thinking, please make it good, because it could be a good single player game if you do it right.
The way that game looked and the way it felt, because it felt very Star Wars, like you go to Endor or to Hoth, it felt like you were in that movie. And like the attention to detail was phenomenal. But all you could do is just shoot other people on the internet.
Yeah, there was nothing else.
There were single-player campaigns, but it was basically, or single-player missions, like, here are some bots, shoot the bots until there are no more bots, and then there will be some more bots. And then there will be some more bots, and then this bit will end. Well done, you. Their next logical step, if they were going to do it, is to create an original story, or maybe create like play through different bits of the films, because now that universe is expanding so rapidly. You can go all the way from Episode 1 to Force Awakens, or is it The Last Jedi?
Yeah, you could go all the way across there. There's a lot to do now, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a huge universe, and you could just cherry pick bits of that and play as a different hero, a different character each time. Even play as like a background person, like in the fight at the end of Episode 2. Why not just be another Jedi and watch Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi do their thing, or you could play as a clone trooper and try and take them down. Not one of the robot things, and then later a clone trooper and try and take people down. There's enormous scope for making something truly good. It's whether they have the scale, the time, and the energy to do it.
You even got Rogue One universe now as well, so you can even go even further back now.
Yeah, but the problem with Rogue One is that if it didn't have Star Wars in the title, it would be an average war movie.
Did you and I only enjoyed the ending of that film, the last third maybe, quarter, fifth, something like that. Anyway, it wasn't much, but the last bit I enjoyed. The rest of it.
Yeah, I left it. I had high hopes, because I always do for Star Wars, and I was hoping so much that it would be brilliant. It would be that little extra nugget, but they had a little bit too much fan service in there. So why wasn't Darth Vader's thing, palace, named? Why was that planet not made? Because it was Mustafar, and if you're a nerd, you'll know that. But if you're not a nerd, it's not for you. They had the blue milk thing at the beginning, and they had Leia at the end.
Yeah.
And they had that weirdly odd-looking Grand Moff Tarkin. They had all this fan service stuff, but the story just wasn't strong enough.
The characters weren't strong enough either.
No,
they were going to die because you knew they weren't in the film.
Yeah, it's Star Wars Halo Reach Edition. Everybody's going to die. That's just a thing. But because you knew they were disposable, you didn't care about them that much.
No, when they died, I was just like, nah.
Yeah, it was a great shame. And plus, we have one copy of the Death Star plans. There were hundreds of spaceships above that big radio-y thing. How can only one of them have picked up the transmission? That's like, literally none of the technology in that world is that basic.
That was a good scene. That was about the best scene in the film. The plans bit. That was it. That was just like,
so you've got to sit through hours of guff to get there.
Yeah, I saw someone actually rank it as their second favourite Star Wars film.
I was like, that person again.
Yeah, I was going to block them on Twitter when I read that.
Yeah.
I was like, how? I thought I'd missed something. When you start questioning yourself, like when we were talking about comments before, and people put comments in your videos and stuff, and usually they're quite funny. Yeah. Sometimes harsh, sometimes funny. And sometimes you just sit there and think, did I miss something completely about what I've just covered that you picked up? Then you just realise, no, they're idiots sometimes.
Well, I'm actually on the comments page now. Because we were talking about it earlier, I was having a look. So we did a film with my mum drifting a Focus RS, Now I'm going to try and read this as it was typed. So my mum is a 66-year-old retired school teacher. I wanted to show how easy it was to use the RS's drift mode. So, Ford loaned us the car, sent an instructor up with, a set of really shagged rear tyres so it would be a little easier. Thankfully it was raining. And, mum hates driving. So it's not going to be, the easiest thing in the world for her. So a man called Twixie White, I'm assuming it's a man, a 10-yaw Eeld would have been better than both. You're not supposed to full lock counter steer the second it slides away. You want to drift so you don't need to correct it to get rid of it right away. What does that mean?
I got lost at the beginning of that one.
Yeah. Someone on a Rolls-Royce Phantom said, I want this sexy car, which is nice. This guy looks like the Gas Kings dude. Thanks for that.
I'm now going to Google Gas King dude.
It's probably a good idea. I'm going to have to do the same. Where are we? Let's see if we can find something else. Someone being rude. So the thing is, we're quite lucky.
Yeah. You don't get many comments bad, do you?
No, sometimes my first death threat was oh, here we go. Thumbs down because this dude is a whiny little crybaby. The crap he complains about are just what he said they are. First world problems. Like, well, yeah, but there was our Porsche Panamera film, and, it's got this weird touchscreen thing, and I didn't get on with it at all. The screen's too big, and it's too fussy. And I said these are first world problems, but when you're reviewing a £100,000 car, you have to be picky because 100 grand's a lot of money. And
like if it's an Astra, like for 20 grand, you're probably going to think that.
Yeah.
Fine. But if you spend 100 grand on your car, you want everything to kind of be good.
Yeah, if you're dropping that kind of money, it has to be bang on. Let's see what else we've got. Stats are incorrect. No, they're correct for the UK, which is where I filmed it, you moron. Oh, Lord.
I haven't seen you put many from the comments on for a while on Twitter, actually.
To be honest, dude, I've not been in the country.
Yeah,
you've been. Yeah, I was in Detroit, and then I was in. Actually, I can give you my calendar.
See, it's a hard life, isn't it?
So,
if you want to follow him on Twitter, by the way,
it's ridiculous. So yeah,
at A1 Goy in capital letters, Goy.
That's me.
And you can find out.
Goy, Golf Oscar Yankee. So yeah, we were in Detroit, and then I got back from Detroit, had a shoot in Wales, and immediately went to South Africa. Then was shooting in the UK. Then I had some driving stuff, driving days in the UK for the next couple of weeks. Then Exeter, then Utah, then Sweden this week. Next week Lisbon. Week after that Geneva. Week after that UK. Then we've got basically a week at a racetrack, and then at the end of March, I might actually have a week in the office.
Yay! See, there you go. You'll be. You can maybe come to Newcastle, and then I'll show you an Astra there, proper cars.
Proper cars for proper people.
Yeah, proper cars.
100 grand's worth of. Someone's telling me in the comments to slow down for the sheep. No, I didn't hit them. It's fine. Maybe one day I will release what happened when I very nearly turned sheep into some very rare meat in an Audi R8 Spider.
I almost did that in a kit car.
Ooh,
and I was worried the kit car was not going to survive.
Yeah.
Just go out the way. I was like, oh my God. I almost got killed by a double mattress in my kit car as well. It actually bounced over off the back of a truck, bounced in front of the kit car and over the top of it. And it was only a caterum thing, so it would have wrote it off. Like I think I probably
like sheep versus that, you would have not good.
Yeah, sheep and mattresses don't go well.
No, they do not. I'm genuinely trying to look for people being rude to me, but a lot of people like the Panamera Turbo.
However, if you're listening to this and you want to be rude to him,
yeah, feel free.
I think he's just opened that up to you right now.
Like if you go to youtube.com/Carfection, there's a thingy, there's a plug. Feel free to comment on anything. Someone's having a go at specs because I said the Panamera Turbo or the 911 GCS was said, oh yeah, a 911 Turbo S will do 0 to 62 in 3.3 seconds, which is technically true, but that's the 991.1 Turbo S, not the 991.2. I basically got my numbers confused.
Just by
because
one as
the
well.
internet never forgets. They're just, oh man.
So if you want to pick them apart, feel free.
Yeah, feel free. Just pick, like, it's okay. I only work night and day to make sure it's as right as possible. But the thing is, you're only human.
Yeah, I am gonna put a link to the channel in this video, and he's gonna be spotlit tomorrow, so you'll be able to see a video.
Yeah.
Don't know which one yet. I haven't picked one. We'll see what we fancy picking. So you can see the podcast on Saturday, and obviously listen to it. It's Saturday now, and Sunday you'll be able to see Spotlight on one of his videos as well. But because it's supposed to be 15 minutes, we're now at 40.
Oh, sorry. So you may have to edit this a touch, chap.
I don't think it's going to be. I don't think I get edited. It's just going to go up as 15 minutes. Accidentally went to 40. So I think we'll nicely wrap that up there. So I'm going to thank Alex for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for having me, man. It's nice to be on. Keep on trucking. I'll be watching.
Thank you very much, and remember to go and check them out. The links will be below, and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.